Guys, welcome to episode number 9 for our kAIron web platform YouTube channel. So today we'll learn a bit more about the advanced conversational AI techniques. I'm Sansar and this is Spandan. And let's get started. We'll explore the kAIron platform, show you guys a bit more in detail reviews about how we can, build up on the platform with the conversational AI, learn more about prompt action and develop a bit more about the bot from Google search action too.
So our goal is that with this session you will have like along with all the sessions we have done so far. With this session you might get a good understanding of how you can create a bot for your own in our platform, so that you can just go there and you can just create a bot without any hitch or like any problem. In case you are having any problem, we have different channels where you can like get in contact with us, and yeah, our team is very supportive, the current team, and we will try to help you as much as possible. So without further delay, let's get dive into it. So the first thing is that this is our website. If you don't know, it's kairon.com. And what we do is we provide you a platform where you can basically drag and drop and like create some flows. You can add some data and boom, you can have a chatbot without like no thing or like some instructions that you give as to a bot, for example, prompt action and so on. And I'm going to do much more things. Like for example, here you can see this is a nudge. This is also something that our platform provides. So when you integrate kAIron, what you get like at a very single glance is this thing, that is your bot, right? So this is our kAIron's website's own bot, but end of this like this session, we'll create something like this bot of our own, and also in the process you will get more familiarized with the platform, how you can make it and so on. So to get a brief overview about ourselves, so we give a lot of options when creating a bot. First of all, you get generative AIs and like creating your own flow, stuff like that. But apart from that, also you get some more things like different devices or different channel integrations. For example, if you want your bot to be on your website, that you can, but also you can deploy your bot on WhatsApp, Telegram, or any mostly commonly known platforms, as well as like your bot can be of different types. You can create your bot specialized for e-commerce and healthcare and stuff like that. And also like lag chain and all other features, you get it in the bot if you have prompt action enabled, which once again we will show you. So to get started with kAIron, all you need to do is you go to kAIron, you do the onboarding, and once you do that onboarding, it's very simple process, and you get a very basic bot. If you have seen the earlier videos, we have shown you how you can create bots using onboarding. But when you are a returning user, you have gone through the onboarding process, and you are like confident enough that now I want to create my own bot, and I want to add stuffs on my own. I want to improve on that bot. So this video is for that reason, like those small portions that generally you don't get some explanations what are they and what they're used for. So we will focus on them only.
And also, usually when you do start with the bot, what you usually think is that you have to do a lot of steps, and you yourself have to make the whole interaction process come alive. But what we are going to show you is another easier way through one of our features called prompt actions. What it does is basically it lets the flow in smoothly. So all you have to do is you have to like know how a normal chat GPT works. So we're building on top of that. What you do is you give it prompts or some actions that you want it to take for you, and you can just describe it in a simpler way, and that's all you have to do. And what the bot is going to do is that the bot is going to build off of the information that you have provided to it, and it will just keep on conversing with you. And like whatever information that you've given, you can give it almost anything, like how much the word limit should be in the reply, or like how big of a reply it should be, or in the sense like how the conversation should take place. You wanted to assume the role of a calendar, or you wanted to assume the role of an assistant, and so on. So the whole process of this is the whole point of showing you is this is that how easy this bot is, and how you can also create it not only for like any applications, like deploying it on your website supposed to boost your business, and gain customer interactions because they have customer support available readily to answer all the FAQ questions or anything that they have on our website. Also, it's not only for businesses, because even like a simple person, if they want to try on or test out the power of AI, or to get to know how useful an AI can be, like an operation, instead of going always to Google and searching, or getting like not like a ready-made answer, you can actually have fun with it and like converse with the bot, and it will give you a human like reply interaction, and at the same time the answer that you specifically require, which is not like not specifically to the point, but it can be if it's jargon, then it's tough for you to break it down also. So what the bot can do is like it can find out information for you and provide it to you in such a way that it's not only easy for you to understand, but also for others to pick up, so you can be self-explanatory. So at the same time, when the customers come in, that can happen too.
So one of the major changes that we have recently done, although it's not reflected in the website, it will be reflected very soon. That we have switched our domain to app.kairon.com. Okay. So the new one is app.kairon.com. So the we have some major changes, including some like new platform integrations like Line, and the whole revamp of the like intent prediction system that we used to have based on Rasa. So also Rasa did a major upgrade. It went from 2 to 3. So data platform. So let's get started by assuming that you have already done the onboarding and you have like this is your second time visit. So you are going to basically do a login. You can log in from here, or you can just use Google login or Facebook login, anything. You can select your language also. We have internalization in our platform. So if you're coming from another language background, you can always choose your. And we're continuously working on other languages because we have to like translate all the UI elements. So it takes time, but as the time goes, we will keep on adding new and new languages. So you have like more freedom in the like, whole UI experience itself as well. So the first time when you get into the system, what you get is this thing, that is your list of chatbots. And here these are the basic options that you get. And one of the easiest ways to like get started with kAIron and get help is joining our Discord server. Once you join our Discord server, you will always get some employees and some experts there in our server to attend to your queries and like literally help you. Okay. So all you can and so I will just give you a tour of the UI itself, because I don't think that we have gone through the UI that much. But one thing to notice is this setting here. So you can actually change into different modes. We have light mode as well as dark mode. The default is light. And also like the menu at the right side, you can choose the behavior of it, whether you want it to stay, or you want it to go, or stuff like that. If you are making your own bot and you don't want like want us to configure your GPT keys and stuff like that, then here is the place where you can add GPT key. There are other places where you can add some other keys, as well as like the languages and the organizations that you can select. So let's go back to the chatbot page. And in most of the views, you get two kinds of views. One is your list view if you're comfortable with lists, and one is like your card view. So like whichever view you prefer, and you can click on this create chatbot button. It will give you a new card. You just fill up that card and you hit save and you get a chatbot. No, by default, when you make a chatbot, you're not going to get the GPT keys and stuff like that. So that you have to add. And for the sake of the time, we just created a demo bot, so that it's just from scratch. Whatever you get from scratch, it's there. And basically, this is what you start your journey with that demo bot. So kAIron is a flow, or you can say story driven platform. What you do is you create different stories like this. For example, here is this great story where you can see that when greet intent is triggered, intent is nothing but something that is
The user.
the user has inputted, the user has given you an input text, but it's classified into a group. So the intent is basically the groups that is classified, that for these groups I want this particular behavior to happen. So all stories they essentially start with an intent, right? So by default this bot will like give you answers like hello, hi, and stuff like that. But we are not interested in that. In this case, we are interested in adding some more functionalities, right? So what we can do is we can simply create a story for that, right? For example, I want to have some Gen AI action, right?
Yeah.
In my story, so I can create a component, a new custom story. Here there are a lot of options, like there is rule, multi-flow, stuff like that. But the basic one that you are going to probably use for most of the time is your this one, that is your custom story.
Custom. So the main difference between all of these are that the number of intents that you want to place. Because like if you have a rule or a Q&A, then I usually have one intent and I only want that one intent to get triggered. So whenever I type something with that, the training phase that is present in that intent, that gets triggered. But usually if I want many intents within one, like suppose I want the conversation to have buttons and forms, and those buttons should take the conversation somewhere else and get some other flow triggered. For that is when we usually use the custom or the multi-flow story. But in this case, usually the good practice is to
You
use
create a
it.
custom
Yeah,
story.
is
You
to
just create a custom story and you go on from there. So what we are going to do now, it's very simple. We are going to create a small story here that will use some generative AI. You use GPT action, and that is we call it prompt action, and it will give you some answer regarding that particular story
yeah.
being triggered. So I will name this as, for example, HTR1. That stands for our story one. And the every story, when you are creating a story, you start by mentioning an intent. So here my intent is, for example, that let's
Quality
say
assurance.
about what do we can make anything.
Assurance.
Like for example, you can say about finance. So this is an intent that we added about finance, and the next thing that you will probably do is you will add some text,
Yeah, some training
right?
phases.
Some training phrases. For example, tell me about finance, or let's say finance. They need to be they need not be like the same, but you should like add a couple of
Yeah.
example of the
And
types that you want
also,
to
you can
you
show
want to
them
get.
if you don't want to add all of it individually, you can use the generate training phases.
Yeah, so that also we will show.
Let's
So
check that out.
finance, or let's say stuff like that, right? So here are some examples. What you can do is you can just select once. Even if the spelling is wrong, it does not really matter. You can edit it using this edit button. So I'm just making this look a bit correct. Nothing else. I don't know if the spelling is right. But apart from that, you can delete it also, and you can create on this general training phrases button, which will give you some suggestions. You can toggle this use GPT on to get some better suggestions. But in general, you get some that you can just add a couple of
So the
them
whole
from there.
point of this is that as a human, when we type or text, even we can make mistakes, or not everyone has the same not the same intention, or like the same phrase that they talk about. So when I'm talking about finance, and if I talk to some bot for suppose instance, I would directly ask them, tell me about finance. Whereas if Spandan was talking about finance with someone, he would be more specific, as in he would be like, financial status, or like, a financial institutes. So that's why training phrases comes in handy, because you want the intent to be triggered, and you're not sure what every single person would use, or how they would describe their own, sentence with regards to asking about finance. So that's where the training phrases comes handy.
So first of all, what we did, we created this intent there, and then we click on this add button, because all the stories must start with an intent. That is the idea. And every story shows you a different conversation flow. If you think that all my conversations flow can be done by one story, that is also like a valid point. But in most of the cases, you will, like for major conversation flows, you will want a different story to be there. So now that we have this, the next step is assuming that the user has triggered this, and based on that intent trigger,
Yeah.
I want to give some response. And in this case, I want to use GenAI. So for GenAI, in general, Kairon provides a lot of actions. Actions are basically the operations done when a particular intent is triggered. You can chain one action after another. If we have time, we will show you a demo. But for a simple action, we can just select the PyScript action, and we can create a PyScript action here. And you will already get all the PyScript actions that are listed,
Yeah.
or any action that you are making. The PyScript action is basically an action that where you can write some Python, and it will just work. For example, this is a PyScript action example. So here I specify some bot response, and I can dispatch it. It will go there. Right. So we will be using GenAI. So it's my mistake. It's not a PyScript action, but it's a prompt action, because prompt engineering.
Yeah.
From that we took this name, prompt action.
Basically, actions are what you want, the bot to respond with, or what the process should be in reply to your own queries. So in this case, when we're talking about GenAI, what we want is prompt action. Prompt action is basically built off of the other. We have, like, suppose over here we've used ChatGPT. If you go all the way down, we can get to know from like what kind of model we're using. So over here we're using a default, which is the GPT.
3.5 turbo.
Yeah, 3.5 turbo. So what it does is it builds off of that. So it uses the same power that GPT does use, but we can configure it. Configure it in the sense we can ask it to do specific things, or to Google for specific actions that we want the answer to be provided as. Yeah.
So what I did here is I just type that name and shift enter. Every time you want to add something in our platform, like most probably you just need to add click shift enter.
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't see any add button, just shift enter and it will work. So here you can see one thing, that this is add new context, and here is this button add context. So let me give you a brief overview about contexts. So contexts are like the separate chunks of information that you provide um, your action. This, in this case, this prompt action, depending on which the action will create a compact prompt that will be sent to the GPT server, and depending on that, a particular response will be dispatched to you, and then you can decide whether you want to use that response to some other processing, or you just want to show that response, right?
Yeah.
And that is this button, this dispatch response does. Whenever your dispatch response is off in any action, that means that that action is not going to reply back to your client. So probably if your bot is not replying back to your client from some action, probably you just forgot to dispatch the response.
So the main use cases are, usually that when you are conversing with the bot, sometimes you do want the response from the bot. Sometimes you want the bot to be specific and reply back with specific sentences. So you can turn on the dispatch response, because you want the conversation to take place. But in instances where you don't want the dispatch response to be honest, because basically what happens is, like, sometimes I just want to ask the user a question and I want it to save the value. I don't want it to specifically, give back any response, but I want them to keep a certain value with themselves, and I can save it in the slot, because I can use it for a future use case, as in, like, if I want to continue or build off of that information.
So the first one is the system context. These two contexts will be provided to you whenever you create a new prompt action. You can add more contexts from here, but this is basically to you tell the system that how you want it to behave. Like here I can say that you are a chatbot assistant, so keep your answers that way. For example, you can put anything here. I'm just putting some nonsense, but you get the picture. And here I'm just here in the second prompt action instruction. This is the second context that I might want to add. I'm just adding this. Right. This is my first instruction, and I want to say is that give some financial advice for a business person.
So this is basically the building blocks
So
of your bot.
yeah, so basically you don't like need to like program everything hard coded. That is the like power of LLMs. You just give a hint that this is what I want you to suppose to do when this particular action is triggered, and you can get as much
Yeah,
generic or
but
as much specific you want. In this case, I want this. And in case failure, there is already a message, but you can pretty much edit everything. You can add more context and stuff like that. And this is the token limit. You can see it's basically like one-to-one in one-to-one relationship with how much you type here basically. So keep the tokens in limit, otherwise you will not be able to see
so
it.
you can be specific in this also. Like suppose how you want the bot to respond. Suppose you want the bot to respond with hyperlinks. Like suppose Spandan type financial advice, right? So in this case, what happens is if it gives you financial advice, you can also specify that provide me the hyperlink from where you're getting the information. So over here, one of the use cases is that there's transparency, right? There's transparency between you and the LLM that you're building off of. So what this helps is that you get to know the information source. You yourself can decide whether the information is right, or if the information is hallucinating, or if the information is exactly how you wanted it.
So here you can see that when this is triggered, basically I clicked on this add button and it's added. So our goal is that if one of these phrases, something that is like equivalent to this phrase is triggered, then I want this particular prompt action to be triggered, and specifically I want the bot to give some financial advice, nothing else. It's just something that came out of the mind. So once you are done like preparing your story, first save it and make sure that this is synced. Okay, otherwise like it will give you some warning that uh, have you saved everything and you want to train. So like in case you forgot to save, it will at least ask you once. So once you are like confident that okay everything is right, you can click on proceed, and it will start the bot training process itself. Right, you can see that model training is started, and it will give you a counter.
The training time depends on the number of stories you have, the amount of actions you have in them, and how big like your prompt management is. Suppose in this case, what we can do is we can make a context, and we can point that context to the prompt management. So the prompt management has like a default table, and it has an FAQ table that you can add. So what happens is that like suppose I want like Spandan wants the bot to ask very specific in detail questions like can you tell me about your financial history, what is your credit score, and all of that. Then if it is very it's necessary to keep the bot aligned with what kind of questions you want to provide for your use case or conversation. So in that case, in prompt management default table, we can specify the questions, and the bot will ask the questions exactly how it is because we've pointed it towards that table.
So now what we will do is, meanwhile, when the bot is training, we can go through the platform a bit and look at some different aspects. So as you have seen so far, the stories they contain all your like individual flows of the conversations that you want to use, but like the elements themselves, like the prompt action and them. Like every time do you need to get inside a story to create a new prompt action, or every time do you need to like create a like all the like go inside the story and
If
find out
it's yeah.
whether that prompt action is there or not, or like to modify it. The answer is no. You have the second option, that is components. It's basically the list of all the small components that you're using inside your story. It contains all the like for example training examples that you have provided so far. It contains all the like direct responses that you want to send, that is that utterances. Like if you don't want to use actions, then you will be probably using utterances. But it's just the same thing. It's just basically saying that okay, if this particular utterance is called,
Yeah.
one of the utterances that is mentioned here, send it. Like here this is one, but if you have some utterance that has multiple entries, then one of those entries will be dispatched to the client
So the
itself.
whole point of this is that, as you guys noticed, when Spandan he's opened the website on his platform, he had multiple bots. And
Yeah.
what the problem is, when you have multiple bots, you yourself cannot keep track of where each and every utterance is, or where each and every intent is placed, or
Yeah.
your components or your slots. So what this does is, for your complicated bots, or if you, in case you don't want to have the hassle of going through each and every story and finding out, this is a much simpler way for you to segregate all of the data. So I
Yeah.
can directly get to know, okay, I want to check out my PyScript. Okay, I need to go to actions. Within actions, there's PyScript, and I can check out what kind of PyScripts I've opened.
And also the actions and stuff like that, what you said at here, like for example, I just now added a finance prompt, so you can just get the finance prompt here and you can update it here as well. And the same goes for slots and slot mapping. I think we had a basic video on slots and slot mapping. In future we will try to like
So our
deep dive
platform
into
keeps
it.
on
Yeah.
upgrading. So we'll get back to you guys with the updates as
Hmm.
well.
And like as the training is still going on, we can like give you some, to some other areas as well, which one of them, which is your upload and download section, where you can just simply download the files that you have like used to train this bot, and all the stories and stuff like that that you have declared in the bot, and you want to like upload it in a new bot. So always you can do that, so you can make your bot in a scratch bot environment, and then you can download those files and upload those files in the prod
The
environment.
use case in this is like,
Yeah.
suppose Spandan has made a simple bot, that is for food, and I want to make a bot for restaurant. So we both have the same, almost the same use case, but I don't want to build everything from
So
scratch,
so
right?
you just want to import that
Yeah, I just
particular
want
thing.
to. So
So
I'll build off of it.
so you just download from here and you upload from here. It's very simple, and then you just validate files if you want to check whether the files are correct, or you import. In import, you get two modes. One is append and one is override. Append will add to your options, which for the previous
Mine.
previous test case, append will be applicable. But if you just want to like make a like entire copy of the old one, then you will be probably using override. And the same goes for like many other options. Every option they have some something to offer you. For example, this prompt management, whenever you have gpt enabled, for example this bot, you get this chat gpt option available as well, where you can just add some more tables. Like here I have added a small table. Okay. And this is a small example, but you can really like put a lot of data. And then what you can do is one of the actions that you provide is database action. You can use that database action, and you can query this table
Yeah.
to fetch some data and send it to the user. And if you don't want to like save your data in our platform, you can just provide apis, and you can use api actions to incorporate them as well. And for your like to switch the bots, you can just select from here. Okay. Now, I think that we should go to the training history once to see what happened. As you can see that bot has been trained, right? And it took this minute and so on. But as you can see, the training history itself keeps track of the training. Like I keep if I hit this train button again, there will be another training session in queue, right? And the model configuration is basically what kind of like configuration you want your bot to use. We provide a very few like generic solutions, and they pretty much cover all the scenarios that you might want to
It
use.
depends on what your use
Yeah.
case is. Suppose if
Like
you
for
want
example,
to.
you want to make a rule based bot, then probably you will be using rasa default. Okay. In general, you should use kAIron default. If you want to like have a bot that is more dependent on, let's say, like prompt action and stuff like that, then you will probably choose contextual or long answer time. Or if you are using like more of a similarity search or database search, then you will probably use the word embedding and so on. And FAQ is like pretty much self-explanatory. So now that our bot is trained here, you can just click on this show bot. It will give this little icon here, which I think is being covered by the system itself. So I can just make the screen a bit smaller so that it's visible, I think, from this point
Yeah.
onwards. So just let me make it stretched like this. So, and I can reset it. Okay. This is the default bot that you provide, right? So here, if I say hi, for example, it gives me one of the high responses that were mentioned here. In this case, it's returning the same one. So I think there is only one. but it will pick up one of them. Like for example, if I say buy, it will answer for the buy finance. If the GPT keys and everything are correct, then it will give you one of the finance advices. Okay, and it will be different. And let's just say I didn't add this finance advice in the training set itself, but as you can see that because it's very near to the finance, the intent prediction model was smart enough to predict it, and it created a small table. So what you can do is you can just make a list. The user asks us these questions in common, and you can group them according to the intent. Then you can just put them in different intents, and that's basically sorted out. You know how many stories you want to go on, and
Yeah.
you can.
So suppose like here is just a small example. Suppose you own like a clothing brand, okay, and you know that there are five specific things every time a customer comes onto your website they're going to look for: shoes, apparels, socks, and let's say hair braiding or earrings or something. So now you know that you have to basically give an answer every time someone comes on board for that, right? Because that's a surety that people will mostly ask that. So in that case, what you can do is you can create multiple stories, and in each story you can answer that. So in those intents, you can put those training phases that specifically that they will ask for, and most of the time, which the users will be asking about. So they'll suppose query what are the currently the apparels you have. So it picks up the apparel, it picks up the word from the intent, and it displays the flow that you want accordingly. So the whole point of this is that you are going to make the experience much better for the customer because you know what the customer needs, and at the same time you can't answer the customer's queries every time, so you automate the whole entire system.
Now here is the interesting part about our platform is that whenever you like modify a story,
Yeah.
for example, you add something to the story or you remove something from the story, you need to retrain the bot itself. Or if you add a new like you modify any of the intent or utterance collection, you need to retrain the bot itself. But for the actions themselves, you can change them on the fly. Once that action is added and the bot is trained once, you can change them on the fly. For example, here instead of one, the point that you made earlier, instead of this one, I want two financial advices, and I want my answer to be a bit more customized according to my choice, right? So what we can do is we can go to this story, and we can build upon this prompt itself, right? That I had given one instruction that give some financial advice to the person. Now I can on the fly change it that give two financial advice for a business person. Each should be less than 50 words, and one of them should be
You can get as specific as you
related
want.
to
So basically, like right
stock
now,
market.
look at how many words Spandan has given. But what ChatGPT does is it'll pick it up. It'll pick out the only words that are necessary. The whole point of the tokenization. But over here, it'll only talk in 50 words, and it will follow the commands that Spandan has given.
So for example, if I like restart this bot, right, and say finance once again, you can see it gave me two
Yeah.
replies, right? It gave me two replies, and like this is a simple example, but and one of them is related to stock market as I asked it to. So you can be as specific as you want in your prompt action. So it can be how specific you want or as generic as you want. Okay.
And you can even try and make it emoji savvy or whatever. You can add emojis, you can ask the bot to have a conversation in a fun way, or you can ask the bot to have a conversation in a serious way. If you want the bot to converse more or converse less, in the sense you don't want the bot to greet, or you don't want the bot to talk about unnecessary topics but get straight to the point, because sometimes you can use the bot for serious use cases also, like
Or
suppose.
for silly use cases also, like
Yeah.
for example, use emojis.
So, like, imagine you're like running a medical store or something. You want, very serious answers to the point. So, but in this case, like, if we have like
For
a very
example,
nice
you
story,
you want like your prompt to be a bit more
fun,
fun.
fun.
For example, so the same finance this time should like also include emojis,
So
and you
there
can
are
see that
two
there are
emojis in
two
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
there are two answers, and there are two
Yeah.
emojis.
And Spandan didn't even need to, specify that put the emojis related to what or anything. Like the bot picks up on what the sentence it's putting it, and regarding the same sentence, you already use the emoji. So which makes your life much more easier, right? Because we have specified what, like maybe two instructions, and it by itself has given you, such a nice and
Like
beautifully constructed.
every time it will give me a very nice reply, and that is like coherent to
Yeah.
my particular year, right? Like how I want it to be.
And Spandan's kept the word limit as 50 words right now, but if in case you want to give a more in detailed
Yeah,
review,
that you
you
can
can
totally
increase
do.
it.
The point is that once you first you get your setup running, and once you have that thing going on forward, you can add two stuffs. You can add more to the platform that add more that you want to offer, right? So for example, now I have the response as a raw here, but in most of the cases I will not be like using this response whatever the chat GPT has written to me, but I might want it in some other ways, for example. That also you can do, right? So in
So,
that case, I am not going to dispatch this anymore. Okay, rather I'm going to save it in a slot, like some of the slots that so here you can see that you say use the slot configuration, and we already provide you some slots by default. You can create a new slot if you want, but like we are lazy people, so we will just pick one random slot. We know that it's order, and then we will set the value, which is nothing but our you want to set
sure.
bracket is there, no?
No, flower.
This one, only data.
No, no, that is also flower.
I gave the file bracket, no? This is what I wrote, and this is when your type is expression, right?
Yeah.
So what we were thinking in like we have already switched some of the scripts to PyScript, but in later series all the scripts will be driven by PyScript, and will show you one like a raw PyScript. But the idea is that like for now there is that API action that I told you
Yeah.
that you get the data from some other source. There you can just simply write PyScript on the way. Right now, PyScript is not included in the prompt action itself, because you can just store your prompt action result in some let's say slot,
Yeah.
and then you can later use it. Right? So I updated this. So now it's going to save in that order slot, right? So now we can add a PyScript action to further work on that. So I'm just creating another PyScript action. I will call this our finance PyScript, and this will just make it a bit more how do I say, like a bit more good looking, for example.
Organized, organized.
So good looking, organized, whatever. So what I want to do is first of all I want to get that value that I set in
This,
the slot.
the slot.
So that is available under slot, nothing else. There is a dictionary called slot. You can pick the value from there. Okay, I don't know if the font is visible here, so I will zoom it a bit. So hopefully now it's visible.
Yeah, now it's good.
So it was the order slot, right? So basically, this thing itself now, if you're from Python background, you know that this thing itself is now containing our response
That's the value.
from the GenAI, right? And I want to store it as, for example, my let's say this or something like that, right? And
So this
then
is like as usual as like a variable name, and you're storing it somewhere. You can think of it as
and then what I want to do is I want to, let's say I want to like split the response by new line. So I can do that. Like I can say that my response, whatever that is, split it by new line. So response equals to response. Like all the basic Python stuffs, they are available to you. But anything that is like going to access the voice or something like that, we don't provide you that, right? So I want to split by backslash n. Okay, and then let's say I have a final response, which is nothing but a empty string. And then for each response, what I would probably want to do is I would like to add something to final response. So final response maybe plus equals to, I have a f string where I put that response there,
yeah.
But also I like do some little bit of formatting. For example, I can put something like I have an I equals to 0 here, for example, and I can say that I plus plus, and then I can just say yeah, so it will be 1.1, something like that,
Going
because
ahead, yeah.
because like one is coming from here and one is coming from that response that is split earlier. So I can put I here, split, 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 yeah. So and also what I will do is I will say number VIC, for example, and this whole thing I want to be in bold. So I can just, there are some tags that are allowed. In some platforms like the web platform, it will be available. So whichever platform supports that thing, it will be available there. But like simple text like bold are available, right? So this is what my final response will add up to, and then finally what you want to dispatch, you will set it as bot response.
Bot underscore response is
Yeah,
basically as dispatch
and
response.
that thing is clearly written here. Okay. So basically, whatever your response is, you just dispatch it as bot response, right? So bot response is equals to my final response. Now this script might fail, I don't know. So we can try it out, but always dispatch response. If your bot is not responding, probably you didn't dispatch the response, or your let's say your action did fail. So it's very simple. Now our flow is like this. I will add this. So first, this whenever this intent is triggered, then this prompt action will be triggered,
Yeah.
followed by this PyScript action. And inside this PyScript action, what we are doing is the value that we get in the prompt action, we do no longer dispatch it. Rather, we set it as a slot, and that slot is our order slot. So in the prompt action itself, we are reading from that order slot here, and then depending on what value we receive, we modified it. For example, you can have some complex data, and you can just ask GPT to arrange it in some form like a JSON or something like that, and then you can just easily like handle that data inside here. Or you can just ask GPT that based on this the facts that the user has provided, the user message, you either output one if it's true or zero if it's false. And in prompt action, you just pick on that one and zero, and you have a like whole conditional branch out
And
that.
you can use this conditions for multiple things.
Yeah.
Like suppose if Spandan wants his bot to be both in English and in Hindi. So what he can do is that he can ask the prompt to pick up the words, and after picking up the words, he can name it. Like if he finds Hindi words, then he can name the condition one. If he finds English words, then he can name the condition zero. And then you can split the entire conversation into Hindi and English, which can be beneficial for the customers or your own bot
Yeah,
usage.
and that fact as well, like here you can see like I'm chaining a prompt action followed by a PyScript action. I can also chain a PyScript action followed by a PyScript action, or any combination that I want. You like I can have a prompt action followed by a prompt action, and you get a RAG implementation. Okay, you have a prompt action, a prompt followed by a prompt action followed by a DB action which starts something, and then finally you have a PyScript action which makes some programmed decision, and you have a very complex system built in
But that's the
inside your
beauty,
code.
right? You can
Yeah.
configure it as much as you want, and you can still get the output exactly tailored to what your needs are.
Now here you can notice one thing that I have added some new data.
Yeah.
Right. So in this case, I need to train it again.
Yeah.
Okay. I have added some new data. So obviously in this case, I will need to train it again. So let's hit the train.
When you
But
change the flow, you
yeah,
have
you
to
change the flow or you add some intent or
Yeah.
utterance, you need to train it again. Okay. And like once again, what we said earlier is that if you have any problem regarding creating a bot, or like you want to use our platform, we provide very powerful tools. Even like for example, if you want payment directly in build, you have Razor Pay action. If you want to send email directly to your client, you have email actions. We have broadcasting for different platforms like WhatsApp and so on. Like for example, I told you about integration now.
Yeah.
Here you can see that the integration is here. Right.
Exactly.
So anything, anytime you have any problem, you can go to our Discord server and you can just ask us that we are having this issue. We are very active in the Discord server, so we will just try to connect you within some like,
And
very
also,
short time.
also, if you own a business, you can deploy this very bot on your own website.
Yeah.
You can take help of us, or you can do it by yourself. And you can use it for a number of reasons. Like suppose if you have a restaurant and you want to people to order food from it, you can order the you can add razor pay action, they can order food directly from there. Or if hospitality bots case, you can make the users add search for rooms, book rooms, like number of cases, I think.
That and so like so far so good. We have like gone through these options in general in a very brief introduction, but still an introduction. So this deploy part, while this second training phase is going on, we can go through this deploy part. Like this is where you set your how your bot looks like, right? I can give you a demo here. Like it looks a bit different here now, because this is the view provided by the configure client itself. You can see this, that button is no longer in the configure client page. So what I would like, for example, is that I want for example that I want to change the theme of my bot. Okay, I don't want this blue color, I want this purple color, for example. Okay, and then let's say in the purple color also, I the background color you can manually change. I just want the text background to be pinkish, and so on. Okay, so like it's totally customizable. You have a lot of options. You can change the height of your chatbot, you can change the width if you want. Okay, in this case, or you can add more options like expand container and so on. And you can also add your custom classes,
Yeah.
so that in your platform's code you can like change it but however you meant. So like example, now I have saved this, right? And then you can go to asset, and basically you can change these icons and stuff like that. For example, I want to use some other icon, right? For example, let's go to Google Image and let's just find a bot icon, right? So for example, if I want to use some other icon like this one, so you can just copy the like right. You just open that image. And then, here you can see that this is a JPEG image, right? You would probably want something a bit smaller, but for demo purpose,
I think we can like bot icon. It'll get
yeah,
more
bot icon
specific.
transparent. You can search that, but I guess you get the idea. For example, I want to use this one icon. I don't know why, but I like this one. I have this PNG image. This is, although this image is not transparent that I was looking for, but it will do for the demo. Like
We can give it.
yeah. So what I will do is I will just
Bot icon.
in the bot icon
Scroll
itself,
up.
here in the bot icon itself, I will just enable, and then I will just put the related URL, right? But if you have like an SVG, you can just directly upload it. So once you have like done the changes, you can just save it, right? And next time, like from the other pages, when you open that, you will get that icon. Okay, that I don't probably want to use right now, so let's off it. Okay. No. Rather, one of the features that like is my favorite is using this one. Okay, like hi, I am your digital assistant, right? So I can save this, and every time the bot opens, this message will be shown, and I can also like give a timer, like after 6 seconds maybe you can stop showing that, right? And so on. You have these so many options what you can like
Customize the
customize your bot. And this is for the web client itself only, but like you have the deployment option to all these different channels. You just put their credentials and you are good to go. You provide MS Team, Business Messenger, most of the major platforms, Line, WhatsApp, Instagram. So you get all of them. You just put the credentials here, and boom, your bot will be there, right? It's as simple as that. And once you have done doing everything, you just go to configure client, you just generate, and as you can see right now, the message has come, and after 6 seconds it will go. For testing you copy this, for integration you will be copying this one, and you just paste it in. Okay, nothing else. You just go there. I think Google does not allow to paste anymore. I don't remember, but if it allows, if it allows, you will have that bot, right? You just incorporate that script in your website, and now you have this
Look how
beautiful
cool it
looking
is. You
bot.
can
Yeah,
show it on any
just
web.
very in very small time we change that. Even you can see that the bot icon is changed, right?
Yeah.
Previously the bot icon was, and all the icons like this you can even change.
And you can specify anything. Like you can, we have named it kAIron. You can name it whatever your business is or
Yeah,
whatever you want your
it's
chatbot to be.
totally customizable in that sense for the web client. For WhatsApp, whatever WhatsApp provides,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
all the widgets that WhatsApp provides, for example, your buttons or drop downs, they will be available in WhatsApp.
So integration is more for, if you want to reach out to more people.
Yeah.
So that's also good, but mostly the customizations that we provide are very much
Uh-huh.
tailored to the
So
needs.
integration deploy is basically for your integration configuration. Whether you want, for example, configure telemetry, it's nothing but saying that okay, track my bot's movements,
Yeah,
or a
it's-
website where I have put my bot, track how the users interact with that website, something like
yeah,
ETL, something like, for example,
we
ETL.
actually also provide analytics for all the
Uh-huh.
businesses.
There is
So
there is nudges as well. Okay, so you get to use the nudges and stuff like that. So all these options are here, and also like if you want to collaborate, one of the things you want to collaborate, you can just go to manage members, and you can like add more members. You can just click on add member. You can select a role, and then you will work with it. Like for example, you contact some of us to like make your bot. So probably what we will ask you is just give us this is our email. You add it as to your bot, because like when you create a bot in kAIron, even us as the people of kAIron, we don't have any access to that data, because everything that is like essential to you is encrypted, and like you have that token to access that. We don't have that token. We can just do a database query, and we will get some garbage result, because you have that whole
so
thing
all
built.
your data is protected, and at the same time, we will
Yeah,
not be aware about it until and unless you are.
you inform
And
us.
you can collaborate not only with us but also with your friends. If suppose you want to
Yeah.
share it with someone else and deploy it on your own website.
So, anyways, we had a lot of GAN. Now I think we have
Yeah,
what is trend.
let's get back.
So let's try what disaster we have caused so far, right? So it was finance, right?
Yeah, fine.
So although this example may look silly, it's simplified so that like we can show you all the things that are happening. For example, if this particular response breaks,
Mhm.
there is a chance that
Yeah.
this particular response breaks. Then how would you treat it?
I-
Just as I said,
yeah.
it says that I have failed to process
Yeah.
your request. Right?
So now this is a good thing because we can learn about this. Now what we can
Not
do
now.
is
Now we will use the third option. That is
exactly.
your monitor.
Exactly.
So monitors. The first option in the monitor is your chat history. For example, only one user was so far chatting with this bot, right?
Yeah.
So only his chat history is here. But as people chat with your bot, you get totally all the history of the chat that this has been going
Yeah.
on, so that you can like from that you can get your like inspiration and your motivation, and you can modify your bot in such a way that it can serve your customers better.
So like you can notice that if Spandan has asked a specific question, if the bot is not answering as per your requirements, you can go to chat history, you can find out what the issue
Yeah.
is, and you can change the intent from there itself.
Then there is this analytics page for your bot, right? So this is just like which actions and stuffs are triggered. Like before we using this, I had these few options here. As you can see that these are triggered here. Like fire and spy was triggered only once just now. Okay, so it's one there and so on. Okay, and like which intents are triggered, whether your users are engaged or like they're going up. In this case, I am only the only person who is talking with this bot, and every time I am making a conversation, so I am very much engaged. But you get the idea, like you get all these matrices. Okay, depending on which you can do your analytics on the bot, and you can just like totally customize this whole stuff. Right. Now the important thing, that is your logs. Whenever your some action fails, whenever you are using an action, there is a high chance that you have made some typo or something like that in that action. So for that, you will go to the logs area. Like for example, Here it has simply said that invalid syntax at statement I plus plus.
You
Right?
can think of logs as like console, and it tells you where you
Yeah.
have to debug.
Like for example, this is a log for a failed response, but the PyScript finance PyScript prompt, that prompt was executed correct, right?
Yeah.
So here is like the response that I got. Okay, but here is all the other stuffs that finally boiled down to. You can find your instructions here, like in LLM prompts. We will get some prompts here. Okay, that are given to the prompt, the bot itself. Okay, so like this is the system prompt that I provided. You are a chatbot, just behave like a chatbot. Then this is the instruction that I provided, and like much more, all the slots and stuff like that. Okay, so like set slot, you can see that here the set slot action was triggered, and this order slot, it was set with dollar sign data, right? Um, and it should be set like dollar sign data, right? It should be more like okay, we'll debug it. The best thing is that now that we have that story there, we don't need to train our bot anymore, and we can just work on it, and we can fix this
Yeah, we
issue.
can
That
fix
is the idea behind making this typo. So let's go into this PyScript actions log once more, right? And in this route you can see that this is my source code, and it is giving me that error that in line number 7 I have that is I plus plus. Now you know that in Python you can do I plus plus, right?
So I think it's indentation more of.
No, no. In Python, you can do I plus plus. What you do is I plus equals to 1. Okay. I don't know why they don't support that particular expression, but that's why I put it there so that you get an idea. Like here, so I just make it I plus equals to 1. That's it. And this is the only one that failed. Right now, every time you need to change your PyScript and you need to like train your bot, that is a hassle. But you don't need to do that. You just update it here, and it will automatically be ensured. So now that we have our updated PyScript, you can see.
See, it's
So now you have a very how I wanted that one number advice, right here. Is
it's exactly how Spandan had customized it.
I can go to the components page here so that I can show that script to you a bit more clearly. So here, if you go to this finance prompt, you can not the prompt but the script. Sorry, I keep on like making these two things same. But if I go to this PyScript clearly, you will be able to see that I am saying that this is this number advice, and then for example, I can just remove this right, and I can put a backslash n here as well, right, so that it will
Next
go to a
line.
next line. Okay, so now it will always be a next line, and there is one yeah um, space here. I don't need it anymore. Rather, I would like year to like remove that whatever that year was that point one, 1.1 or
The
something
number,
like that.
yeah.
Right, is 1 point. So I just want to remove that part. So you might think that it's a bit like, it's very simple actually. It's not that hard. I just say year dot year equals to year dot.
And this is like for the coders. If the coders
Yeah,
want, they
like
can use
I,
this.
I like I like PyScript more,
Yeah. So
but like some of our teammates, they prefer like using prompt action more because they like the way that LLM thinks,
so
right?
you can use the LLM also to customize it, and you can use PyScript also. But of course, PyScript is
So for
more
example, here
easier.
I have modified this a bit. Okay, I don't know if it's correct or not, but we will if it fails, we always
Logs.
get the logs, so we can check the logs and
Logs
we can
is
get it.
our savior.
Okay, so we can just say here finance once more. You can see, and we will get to see the result. So now you can see that it's as beautiful as I wanted it to be. I removed that over 1 point that part here, and then I added a new line. I added some bold headlines, and
It's
this is the
it's
first number one advice, and this is number two advice. A should be a little bit big.
See, it's amazing
So
how how nicely and
so
beautifully it can
yeah.
be presented with, and
So
how much you have
and
to.
also like some part of it is programmatic, some part of it is being driven by your
LLM.
LLM itself, right? So now if I say finance once more, okay. So now you get like this. So just to give you an like small demo of what you can do. It's up to your imaginations. And also as we said, like the logs, they are your help. They are your help components. If your bot is not responding how it should have, and we have different kinds of logs depending on different services, whether those services are enabled or not. For example, if you have broadcast enabled, in that case you will see that broadcast log, how many messages have been deleted, have been delivered, how many messages have been read, and so on. Okay,
Yeah.
like what's the broadcast is now there, and all those stuffs you can make from here. And we just used two actions here, right? One was your PyScript and one was your prompt
Prompt
action,
action.
right? So I think we can just add another action and we can finish this one, right? So for that I have already like added some data to just show you, and also like the final one action that might save you a lot of time, that is your search action.
Yeah.
And as the search action specifies, it's just and search in the World Wide Web to get the information that you want, right?
Yeah.
So it seems very trivial, but it's very powerful. In that sense, is that the LLM you are using, it probably does not know anything about what your intentions are,
Yeah.
right? What the current information, or what the current specs of a particular object or
Yeah.
subject is. But by search action, you get the latest information about that particular page or that particular origin, and then on top of that you can design a prompt action. On top of that you can design a PyScript action, and now you have a very powerful flow to work with, right?
Yeah.
So to add a search action, it's very simple as that. What you first need is to create a search action, right? So I will be doing it from here because I have already created one, and it's very simple. You go to Google Actions, right? And here I have created one called job search, right?
Yeah.
And here I have specified all those things. I have added some keys. So I refer to the keyword, but if you want to like directly use that, you can also use the value and stuff like that. And in the keyword itself, the value is added. You can access the keyword from here. Like you can go to deploy, you can go to administration, and here you get this keyword, and you can add like as many keys as you
And
want.
also anyone can get the search ID. We actually have a tutorial also. You guys can watch it. It's present within the config, the sorry, the integrations part. So it's like one, and like it takes barely 1 minute, and you can get your search action ready for your Google search action.
But like if you want us to like have a live on that, how you create a search action, you can obviously like, make one.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, our goal is to make your life easy, making your business take to the next step via conversational AIs. Because like, nowadays it's the trend, right? Like, anything else? So let's focus on that part where we left. That is this particular search action. I added that key.
Yeah.
And I added the search engine ID,
Yeah.
whatever that needed, and also like the slot I want to use. So in this case, I am also once again using our order slot, but like you can use any of the default slots, or you can just create a new slot. So for example, this one I want to use the document slot.
Yeah.
Using default slots is fun, and this is dispatch response. I probably would like turn it on, right?
Yeah.
And what I can do is after that I can
So the whole point of Google search action is, imagine you have a big website of information.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to sit and type out the entire information.
So now that this is there, yeah, we'll get to that. Now, for example, where do I want to put this Google search? For example, I want my bot to be at Chubb's website, right? So, for example, I have, if you go to Chubb's website, they are basically, I think, some insurance company, US based insurance company, who are like, venturing into India and other countries. You know, so I just want to do like my bot for Chubb, right? And they have done some beautiful console logs and some beautiful errors are showing up. But let's forget about that and just
Let's concentrate on our bot.
so we just so as you can see, they One second. So, for example, you get the idea of the site, right? In this case, for example, they have the body tag invisible. So what I can do is, in this case, you will be just it's not that easy. You will just probably take the your you will click on generate, and you will take this main script tag and you put it in your index.html, whatever file you
Yeah.
prefer, and it will work fine. But the idea is that I now have a search of that particular site, like job, for example, and now I can develop a story on top of that. So for example, let's assume this bot is at jobs website,
Yeah.
right? So what I would probably want is that anything that I don't have mentioned here, any story that does not fall in any category of any of these that I have specified, should be having this particular tag. That is like in almost all the requirements, this thing is there, that I need a fallback. Like if like anything that I have thought of, these are the like past story I have defined, but the user just asks that who are you, and it does not fall into any of the stories, for example. So for that, there is always this one rule in every bot present, which starts with ask the user to rephrase. Okay, but we have a better name for this.
Yeah.
That is NLU
NLU
fallback.
fallback.
Huh? And what NLU fallback is, you can see here, it starts with this NLU fallback, right? And the beauty of NLU fallback is that it's just as it says, like when no other story is matched, this NLU fallback is matched. For example, and like if you still want to add, and the beauty of it is also that if you still want to add some like more examples to that, make ensure that the story goes into NLU fallback,
Yeah.
you can do that.
You are.
Like for example, I can let job.
In this case, because we want,
And
the instant reply, we'll add chubs, but usually you don't have to add anything because
what
this is going to
is
be your backup, right? In case you have not
job?
thought of some input from the user, then this is what's going to help you out.
So, for example, I have just added this job. I can just generate a training phase, and
Okay, I think to wrap it up.
we will wrap it up.
This one,
So we will just add a job, and it's a job, and the person is job. I don't know. Like you might think that for here the entropy matters. The entropy of the distribution, the entropy of the yeah, your what do they say, like, phrases matter. You don't need to like put exact phrases.
Exactly.
You
Some
just have to
people,
give some examples. Think of it like this. This is a smart child. You just want to tell him that this thing looks like fire. Don't go near the fire. Or like for a like, hypothetical example. And then you add the like for example the search action here. And then here I have added a PyScript which will just show the search action for now. Okay. So as you can see, this search action saving it in the document. So I will also match this one, save it, read it from the document. Was it document or documents?
document.
Yes, sir. So I changed it to document, and now I have the dispatch response added here, right? So this response is being dispatched from this PyScript action, but probably we can just add it in the context,
Yeah.
and we can wrap it up with a prompt action, right? So we do should we do it now, because we need to train once.
No, no. Let's keep it short for now.
Yeah. So here you can see that dispatch response is off. So this search will not make a sound. This one will not make a
We'll
sound.
not get any response.
But if you want to know that what this did, you have to go to that. So now that this is incorporated, we can make another round of training.
Mhm.
And
So what over here actually what you have done is we have used PyScript to answer the Google search action. What you can do is you can add prompt action again underneath the Google search. So
you have the data,
Yeah.
as well as
the conversation touch.
you have the information on how to present that data.
Exactly.
The prompt action provides you the information on how to present the data, and the search action itself provides you the data.
So that's probably the most powerful, response that you can dispatch because at one hand you have some, query from a user, which you've never thought of before, or you've never come across before. But at the same time, there is an access to Google search for that particular website, so it searches everything in that particular website exactly to the dot. And then you have the LLM, which performs on top of the Google search action, which presents a better way, or how you have asked it to provide the answer to the user. So which is not only crisp and concise, but it's to what you wanted the customer to experience, or what you wanted the customer to interpret it in a certain way.
So, like to get a summary, you can think of it like this: you have PyScript action, which is your programming logic. You have prompt action, which is your AGI logic, artificial general intelligence logic. Okay, and using AGI logic, one after another, you can create RAGs. Using your programming logic, you can create a very powerful state machine. You can combine the RAG and state machine together. Now you have a very powerful system which can analyze and produce data. You have an input output system. Now in this input output system, the last puzzle is fetching that data that you need. For that, you have three options. You have Google search option, you have your database action, and you have your API action, or your HTTP action. So if you have a backend ready, if you have the APIs that provide you the data, then you can use API action, get the data, and plug it into the input of our powerful analyzer system, and you get a perfect answer. If you have a huge amount of data you want us to find process, and by process I don't mean like general database search. It can be like similarity search. Like I have these paragraphs and I want the nearest paragraphs. That also works on prompt action
Prompt
as well.
action.
You can add context in this particular panel that is provided to you, this prompt management, and you can
And
go
it's
to
not
this.
necessary you call it that. You can make
Yeah.
any context. Like if there's history
You can go
context.
to chat GPT. Like here I showed you an example of adding table, but you can add like more tables. When we give you a tour of database actions, you will see how you can fetch the data using database action, whether it's like normal search or your embedding search. And finally, once you have all these things, now you need to give the response to the user, right? So there also you have a variety of options. You can simply use a web client, right? If you have a website. If you don't have a website, you can probably use like bot itself, right? So by bot I don't mean like we make bots, but by bot I mean like, for example, WhatsApp business bot,
Your
or
Facebook
your
bot,
Facebook bot,
Telegram
your
bot.
Telegram bot. So and Telegram bots are like free,
Yeah.
free of cost. You just create a bot, add the credentials here, and there you go. You have
As simple
a
as that.
Telegram bot, right? And with that, you have like a dispense mechanism. Like we have a very powerful data gathering system.
Yeah.
We have a very powerful data processing system, and we have a very powerful data dispensing system, right?
I
So
guess like you can say with this the
and not only just bots, just think of it this way: we also have like email.
Mhm.
You can dispense the data through email, or also you can dispense the data through like for example, making a payment for
Yeah.
like you are a teacher. So the user has like confirmed all those all those recipes that he wants to purchase. Then you finally ask him that you confirm. You say that he says that I confirm. This is it, and all that is going through a like general LLM conversations, and then after that you get for example the order.
Yeah.
So you transit the user to the payment,
Yeah.
and also like you notify the
Business owner.
business owner via API call,
Yeah.
via API action, or via simple email. So like you have this whole system there, right?
The imagination is endless actually. These are
Just
just some of the ideas that we can.
yeah, like while that bot is training, we need to like we're just discussing. As you can see, that bot is now trained, right? And now we can ask this bot. I like this feature.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what
It's
I
very
say.
eye catching also. You feel like
Yeah,
clicking on the bot after that.
yeah. So for example, message up, right? And this is actually fetched by the database
Search action.
search action itself, right? Here I'm just showing the data. Okay, but like you get the picture. Okay, you can be as specific as you want. In this case, I wanted it to not be bloated, so I just put this URL, nothing else, just this URL and its description. That was there. You can see that charge is charge our data. I mean, whatever they do, but like, this is the idea, right? And now you think that instead of this, I add something like a dominoes or something like that, about which there is a lot of such data available in the public domain. And then on top of that, I add it as a like context, as we told about the contexts in the like, prompt action itself, as a context
Yeah.
of the prompt action.
Yeah.
Like we can just go to that prompt action and just we can say that, okay, give me this new, for example, I have this new context called like, for example, job context,
Yeah.
and like you click on this add button and you get another context. There you just select the slot that you want the value to be picked up from.
Like for
And you
this
put it.
example, what
Yeah.
the Google search action picks up. So we
Like
can choose the slot
that
as
is
per
very specific to prompt action. When the time comes, we'll like
more.
if we go through prompt action like in a detailed session, we'll go through all the nuances that comes with it. But like at this point, it's I think it's a good point to like close this, right?
Yeah.
So like we knew about like we can create a bot. We got bots from onboarding. We looked at separate actions in separate videos, and now that we have that knowledge, we try to build a bot without any of the like pre-scripted things. Like, we made this on the
On the
spot,
fly.
and the challenges that you face or how you design your bot step by step. So I think that wraps it up in a way that now you have that like that knowledge resource upon which you can just go on in the platform app.kairon.com and like start your bot making
We
journey
encourage
yourself.
you guys to start making your bots. If you have any queries, hit us
Yeah,
up on Discord, and just try it out. You see if you like it. There's different things you can add. See our previous lives, and for now we have wrapped up to this today's session. But definitely stay tuned for more videos to come. We'll be talking about more.
yeah, and the best part is that we are continuously evolving, we're continuously integrating new things. So like your feedback also, like you want this feature, like you would like that this feature would be cool if added on top of it. You can always like comment and like in the live chat comment, or even like in the videos comments
Yeah.
also. You can tell that, you can come to our Discord server and you can say that, hey, I want this feature in this way, I want this UI to be simplified like this, I want this ability to have. Because at the end of the day, like all the businesses in the majority, they are by somehow they are incorporating an AI agent.
Yeah.
That is the goal of today. And for like a business enterprise, it's very hard to like maintain whenever you want to like put an infrastructure. You have to maintain that infrastructure. We are providing you infrastructure, everything. We are providing you the hosting, we are providing you everything. You just click drag and drop and boom, you have the bot. You copy it, you paste it in your product's code, or you just publish it in like any of the channels that you provide. Channel means WhatsApp and so on. And you are with the current trend, right?
You
Your
reach out to
business
your
is your
customers.
business is
Yeah.
with the current.
You reach out to your customers, automate your business at the same time.
Yeah,
Have multiple usage.
and
Everything.
also like a fresh new user interaction, fresh new UI. If you have to like say UI or UX as well. So hopefully, I think that this like we think that this video was informative. If it was informative, and like if you want to support us, we would be very much appreciating that you hit the like button. And also, like if you're not subscribed to us, you should subscribe so that in the future videos you get the notification that these are the topics that we are covering. And as well as we said earlier, that join our Discord server just for fun, see how we are, see what we are doing, and if you are interested, also you can contribute. Okay, it's not like you can't contribute to us. kAIron is an open source project, so anybody can contribute to it. And if we think that it's really like what that drives us forward, we will take on your pull request and stuff like that. So yeah, what we want is that you engage with us, and we want you, to deliver you the best service that you might expect. So that's it for today. Hope to see you in the next session with some more enthusiasm. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Done.